Dendera, Egypt. Roughly 1.5 miles southeast of this ancient city lies the Temple of Hathor, one of the most impressive and well-preserved archaeological sites in all of Egypt. Among the vast hieroglyphs that cover the columns of the temple are numerous depictions of pharaohs standing on mysterious ships and purportedly traveling through the stars.
At the Temple of Hathor, we see a remarkable depiction of a resurrected pharaoh standing on what the ancient Egyptians called the Ship of Eternity. This is a craft that was created by Ptah, the ancient Egyptian god of technology, who the Egyptians connected with the star Sirius. In ancient Egypt, we learn of pharaohs, gods who traveled the stars riding these craft.
According to William Henry, who has spent decades studying the ancient Egyptian iconography, an important detail found in some of the depictions at Dendera and elsewhere is that the pharaoh is shown within a circle or bubble.
In another remarkable example, we see a pharaoh sitting on a throne with Isis and Nephthys on either side of him, and he's sitting in a blue bubble or magic bubble.
The so-called magic bubble imagery is found in artwork throughout the ancient world. And some researchers speculate that the repeated connection between the bubble shape and ascension may indicate that it represents a common experience describing space travel.
Throughout the ancient world, we find other very compelling examples of beings surrounded by a bubble. For example, in Tibet, we find Padmasambhava, who sits on a lotus throne surrounded by rainbow-colored light with a thin line symbolizing some form of a bubble. When you see the earliest examples of Jesus ascending into the heavens, he's sitting on a throne, surrounded by concentric rings that form a bubble around his body. These are supposed to represent what the book of Acts says he ascended in and will return riding upon.
There are countless paintings of saints and other celestial beings that happen to be shown in some type of an energetic bubble. What if people saw something that surpassed their technological intellect and thus drew it in that way?
Mainstream historians interpret the bubble shape found in religious art as simply symbols of divinity. But could the repetition of this iconic imagery across traditions suggest it was something our ancestors witnessed? Ancient astronaut theorists say yes, and believe further evidence may be found by taking a closer look at the recently released gimbal video, captured by Navy jets in 2015. When aerospace engineer Dr. Travis Taylor examined the gimbal video, he noticed a very curious anomaly: a halo of light surrounding the craft.
After further analysis of the video, what we can see is there is a bubble region that sort of surrounds this craft. This is something that you don't see when you look through the same instrument at, say, an F-18 or an F-22 or an F-35.
Black is hot on their forward-looking infrared camera. And if black is hot, then white is cooler. So this is a colder region around the vehicle. So
maybe this is a warp bubble or some sort of propellantless propulsion field that someone has discovered.
The concept of the warp bubble was introduced in 1994 by Mexican physicist Miguel Alcubierre as part of a hypothetical model for traveling faster than the speed of light.
I once asked Miguel Alcubierre how he came up with the idea of the Alcubierre drive. He told me that he was watching Star Trek. And in Star Trek, they, compressed the space in front of them and expanded the space behind them and would rocket faster than the speed of light. And then he said, well, wait a minute. I think I could duplicate that.
In Alcubierre's theoretical model, the warp drive vehicle is surrounded by an energy bubble within space-time.
You need energy to create a bubble, what's called a warp bubble surrounding your starship. Then you need what is called negative energy to drive it faster than the speed of light, while inside you feel almost nothing.
When we look at the idea of a warp bubble that could surround a spacecraft, in the video, engineers are seeing exactly that principle in action.
As far as ancient astronaut theorists are concerned, warp bubble technology could be on display not only in the gimbal video, but also in artwork created centuries ago, like the pharaoh's blue bubble, the Tibetan lotus throne, the Ascension of Christ, and countless other sacred images that seemingly show identical phenomena.
So you have to wonder, what is it that the artist tried to depict here? It's just like Arthur C. Clarke said, any advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic.